What's up, geeks, nerds, and all that line between? I'm JustACommonFan back with a new video. Now today we're going to be covering Marvel Spider-Man on PS4, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on the game. I just finished the game. I got my Platinum Trophy, my first ever Platinum Trophy, mind you, and I'm ready to give you guys my spoiler-filled thoughts on the game, alright? But first, before you go, if you haven't finished the game yet, here's my advice when it comes to the game. Make sure that you do the side quests and missions to level up Spider-Man before you get to the last boss fights, because they are a doozy. The last 4 levels in the game are a boss fight after boss fight after boss fight, and you're going to want to make sure that you're strong enough to take on those challenges. So whatever gadgets that you use that you love the most, make sure they are powered up to the max if possible. Make sure to do your there's a special character in the game who offers side quests. Make sure you do their missions as well to make sure you can level up your gadgets and your suits and stuff like that. And just make sure that you are as strong as possible before you take on the final bosses. The final bosses are still challenging, but it gives you a sense of power. I really felt like I was Spider-Man when I played those levels. I was challenged, but not to the point where I wanted to turn off the game. So very, very cool. Also, make sure that you can get as close to level 50 as you can before you play the final levels. Once you play the final levels, if there's any side quests and stuff left over, you'll still be able to do those side quests and stuff to reach 100% in the game. And also, if you reach 100% of the game, once you finish the game, there's still tons of crowns and stuff that'll pop up to keep you playing and keep you enjoying the game. Alright, now on to spoilers. If you have not finished the game, please pause this video, go play the game, and come back and play, because I'm going to cover everything. Alright, so this is your last spoiler warning. Now, this story was incredible. I love this take on Peter Parker. But I have to admit, when I first started the game, the opening was really cool. When it's going through his apartment, you see him getting dressed as Spider-Man. That rock and roll music plays. You see that cool, what's the term I'm looking for? Traversal through the city. That's all the cutscene, and then it like throws you right into the action, and then you just start swinging around. Epic, 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 epic. Loved it. And I love the little story notes in the game. I have to say that, well, let's talk about what I didn't like first. First, I didn't necessarily enjoy playing as Mary Jane or playing as Miles. And that's also a spoiler. You get to play as Miles as well. Both of their levels, since they don't have any powers yet, are just stealth missions. You're trying to sneak around guards, you know, make sure they look over here while you walk over here. It's a bunch of diversions. And none of it really attributes to other parts of the game as Spider-Man. They were very welcomed, and I do like a good transition in gameplay once in a while. But the gameplay with Spider-Man is so much fun, I never got tired of it. So normally you want that transition of gameplay when you're getting bored with the main character, but I never got bored with Spider-Man, and I just wanted to keep playing as him the entire time. So the Mary Jane missions definitely got me a little bored, I'm not gonna lie. And the Miles missions, which they're a lot fewer, I think there's like maybe 2 or 3 of those, I was like, eh. Now, the mission where you are Mary Jane and you're tagging different bad guys for Spider-Man to take out in order to save the hostages, that was awesome. It was so cool that the suit that I put on Spider-Man before that mission, he was still wearing in these scenes. And I think at that point I had unlocked the Spirit Spider with the skull. And I'm sorry if you hear stuff in the background. My lawn is currently being mowed, so I got to make this video when I can while the toddler is asleep. So thank you for being patient. But I had the Spirit Spider with the skull and everything, the white suit, and so to see that flaming head just crawling around in the background, taking out bad guys that I tagged, was amazing. That scene was pretty fun. But the other missions with Mary Jane, I mean, they weren't even that filled with tension, because you can really get them done really fast. Especially the first one when you're trying to sneak into Kingpin's secret office. So easy. You distract her one time, and then you just run past her, the woman who works with Fisk. You run past her into the secret room. It's no big deal. What I did love about those missions, however, is finding times to take the most inappropriate pictures possible. So the photo mode and the selfie mode in this game are fantastic. And actually, I'm going to save that. I'm going to save that for the stuff that I like. So I didn't like playing really as Mary Jane and Miles. I got kind of bored very quickly with those missions. Even though they're very short, I still got very bored with them. And after like the second MJ mission, actually after the first MJ mission, when they showed up, I was like, oh man. Well, time to go to bed. Like it just killed the momentum of the game for me, and I really would like for them to kind of pull back from that. My other complaint is that this game is kind of short. I mean, you know, if you stretch it out like I did over like 2 weeks, and you play, you know, all of the combat missions and the side quests and stuff like that, it does stretch the time out itself. But if you just go into this game and play just the story, you're going to be done like that. I mean, you can probably beat this game story-based in one sitting in the afternoon. The game is not particularly difficult on the amazing setting, which is the medium level. I didn't try the superior setting, which is the hardest difficulty, and they're also adding a Game Plus mode. So probably when I can do the Game Plus mode, I'll try it on the superior setting and see how hard it is. But yeah, it's not a long game at all. It's pretty short, and I was kind of disappointed about that. I guess they really wanted you to fill your time with all the different things, but for me, it was like, well, once I start to unlock all the towers so I can see my map, then I might as well go ahead and get the backpacks. And after I get the backpacks, well, I might as well, you know, to stop all these crimes. And when I stop all these crimes, I might as well take out all these fish towers. And then you look up and you've done all the side missions that are available. And then you have to play the story to unlock more side missions. So I could have done with more side missions, more quests, more special appearances. I do appreciate the fact that we got Speedball in the game. That was a cool little comic book Easter egg to do her side quest. I do love the fact that we got Taskmaster. And Taskmaster really reminded me of the fights from Batman. Is it Batman Arkham Origins where you fight Deathstroke? Maybe it's not. Whatever Arkham game where you fought Deathstroke. Those were my favorite fights. That was my favorite fight scene. And it's really sad because you never get to fight Deathstroke again. Just like Taskmaster, you fight Taskmaster twice and then he's done. I would have loved to beat Taskmaster story-wise to go ahead and get that trophy and that achievement and move on, but then be able to have him keep showing up even after the game is done and just fight him. Even if it was the same fight. I mean, the fact that you are swinging through the air and then he pulls you out of the air and then you have to fight him, it's awesome. So I wish they would have had more of that. But yeah, the game is too short for me. Also, the boss fights are not particularly difficult. And again, I guess that's kind of a good thing and kind of a bad thing because you don't want to throw down your controller in frustration like some of the other Spider-Man games of past, where you have to chase the Vulture through the city or chase Green Goblin through the city. There's none of that. You're not chasing any villains, well, any main villains through the city, which I loved. But not the fight scene with Vulture, Electro, and then they also pair them up. So maybe it would have also worked out both lengthwise and difficulty-wise if they would have split up the villains. It does make sense that the villains would attack you in teams since they are the Sinister Six, and it does make sense to attack you in teams to kind of throw you off your guard a little bit. But it's just I was so frustrated. So I'm like, I would have loved to fight Vulture by himself or Electro by himself instead of fighting Vulture and Electro together, and then Scorpion and Rhino together, and then Mission Negative by himself, and then Doc Ock by himself. So it would have been really cool if those fights would have been broken up, kind of made the game a little bit longer, as long as we didn't have to chase them through the city, because I hate doing that. I did enjoy that. What did I love about the game? I did love the fact that they included Miles. I love the idea that Miles got bit by the spider. And since this is a new, an original Spider-Man story, when that spider appeared on Mary Jane's shoulder from when she was sneaking around Osborn's penthouse and in that secret science room, when that spider got on her shoulder, I was like, ooh, is Mary Jane going to get powers? And I think that would make her character probably a little bit more insufferable than she already is. So the fact that they did have Miles get bit, in fact, it happened so organically. You know, Mary Jane accidentally knocks over a container, breaks it, spider gets out, spider gets on her, she never notices it, spider crawls off at the feast shelter, and then ends up biting Miles by mistake. Ends up biting Miles on purpose, I guess, for the spider. It was awesome. And the moment that bite happened, you knew that he was going to get his powers. And so I thought that was really, really cool. So I did enjoy Miles. I wish we would have got more of Miles and his mother, especially after Miles' father dies. It was great to have Spider-Man team up with Miles' dad after, before he died. But I really wish that Spider-Man or Peter or somebody, somehow Spider-Man would have let Miles know that he worked with his father before he passed away. I think Miles would have really liked to know that his dad, his hero, teamed up with his other hero shortly before he died. I think that would have been really, really cool. Whenever Miles' father dies, we kind of pass over that really quickly, and his mom seems to get over it very quickly. And so I really would have liked more scenes with Miles and his mom together, kind of seeing how they're bending. Because once Miles begins to work at the feast shelter, you don't really hear from his mom anymore after that. So I would have liked more of his mom involved in the story. Aunt May, I loved her. Too many people are probably not going to talk about Aunt May, but I loved her character in here. She was strong, she was powerful, she had that great advice for Peter. You can tell she was passionate about what she was doing, and she always kept Peter close to God, which is, I'm going to talk about that in a different video. But I loved her, and it was so sad when Aunt May died. Oh man, a tear did drop from my eye to see number one, the motion capture. There's so much I love about this game. The motion capture on this game is incredible. And when Peters is going through that anguish of deciding should he save the city or save his aunt, was beautiful. And then when his aunt told him, Peter, you know what you have to do, and those were her last words, and then she died. Oh, it really tugged at my heart. I mean, tears definitely came down my eyes, because that was like, wow, like Peter. Like, Aunt May is the only family that Peter has left. Thankfully, by the end of the game, him and Mary Jane are back on track with their relationship, and him and Miles are pretty good friends. And so he has family, you know, but as far as his blood family, I mean, that's all he has left, and she's dead now. And so I did not see that coming. I did not think Insomniac would kill off Aunt May. So that was crazy. I loved the villains. Martin Lee, great villain, Mr. Negative. I love the torment of his soul. You can tell that he wants to be a good person, but yet he's tormented by this demon that's inside of him. They never really explained it, whether, I mean, they did show that he had experiments done on him at Oscorp by Norman Osborn, and that's why we're actually, no, not by at Oscorp, at Osborn's penthouse in his secret laboratory. And they showed that, and I guess that's where he got that demon persona, because his powers ended up murdering his own parents. But I kind of wish they would have explained that a little bit more, because does he have a demon inside of him, or did a negative part of his personality manifest when he murdered his parents, which I think that's kind of where it was. They kind of allude to that, but they never really hit it home. Dr. Octavius, showing his slow descent into madness and his obsession with taking down Norman Osborn was amazing. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. The fight at the end with Dr. Octopus on top of the building, on top of the antenna, on the side of the building. Yes, you fight Dr. Octopus on the side of the building. The whole camera, you're on the side of the building. The camera angle kind of shifts, and now you're fighting him on the side of the building. I loved it. And the fact that Peter made a anti-Doc Ock suit to help him take down Doc Ock, and during the fight it was damaged and broken and cracked open and stuff. I love that. I wish Insomniac would have included that as a bonus suit, and maybe it'll come in maybe some DLC, we don't know, because there's more suits coming within the DLC pack. Matter of fact, one drops this month actually. But to have that suit and have his face exposed would have been really cool, because on the damaged original suit, it's damaged and there's cuts and bruises and stuff, but you never get to see like half his face out. And that's such an iconic Spider-Man image, where he gets into a battle and his face mask gets ripped. You can see either his mouth or his eye on the side of his face. So that would have been cool if they would have included that in the game. I loved Silver Sable. I wish there would have been more complex and original Silver Sable missions, instead of just like attacking her towers. And then they kind of erase the fact that Silver Sable is the villain, and they say, oh well, my men are actually acting on their own accord now, and I'm just gonna say screw that, I'm going back to Russia. So that's kind of weird that she did that. It was cool that Spider-Man and Silver Sable teamed up, but I kind of wish they would have teamed up like in the actual mission where you were playing as Spider-Man but working with her, and you guys were both fighting bad guys at the same time. I thought that would have been really cool. And yeah, that's it. I mean, those are my quick thoughts, as quick as I could make them. There's so much more I could talk about this game. The graphics, the fact that the game never has any load times or any pop-ins or anything when you're going through the city, the web slinging, the traversal, I loved it. Oh, one thing I did not like, Taskmaster's missions. Some of the drone chasing, because I was playing the game, I was like, wow, I'm going to maybe get through this game and not have trouble chasing things, but chasing the drone, you kind of get the hang of it, but it gets kind of boring after a while. I love the combat missions. Those were fun. And the bomb missions are kind of, I can kind of skip over that too. But anyway, those are my immediate thoughts on the Spider-Man game. I absolutely love it. I cannot wait to play it again. I'm trying to fight the urge to play it again. Thankfully, there's I'm going to get WWE 2K19 this Friday, so that I kind of fill my time until Insomniac releases the Game Plus mode, where I can go back in and play it at a harder difficulty with all of my gadgets and stuff unlocked. So tell me down below, what are your thoughts? Be as spoiler filled as you want to be in the comments, and tell me your favorite part about the Spider-Man game. Make sure to hit that subscribe button at the bottom, hit the like button if you like this video, and thank you guys for coming by and listen to me rant about games. I really, really appreciate it. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a common fan. Hey, no, no.